Hi there, this is Angie, and today I want to talk to you about presence and why that is important in interviews, but also in meetings and trainings, for example. By now, you should have practiced stories, business stories for answering interview questions. You should also have learned more about your personal values and how they translate into examples. So when you've done all that preparation and when you've thought about what you're going to ask at the end of the interview as well, the only thing you need to focus on is yourself. And there are a few exercises that you can do with your body that can support you in this process. And I would like to teach you these exercises today. I call these the practice of the 7 steps of presence. So, instead of crossing your legs when you sit on a chair, the first thing that I would like you to do is to put both feet on the floor. You can also wiggle your feet a little, feel your toes a little. And what you can also do is alternate between your heels and your toes. Just maybe for 2 minutes, you can just do this and see what happens with your breathing. Yeah, it should be a movement like this. Maybe you notice a difference when you do this for a few minutes. So the important thing is to think about, okay, both feet on the floor, no crossing of legs. Then the other thing you need to do, instead of sitting back, which is the natural tendency that we have, is to move forward on your chair. Yeah, so move forward to the tip of the chair and move a little bit your body so that you can feel your sitting bones. You can move like this, or you can move your hips a little. Yeah. And you probably notice when you do this that you're sitting differently. You're sitting straight. Your back is larger. Then an exercise you can do before you enter the interview room, ideally in the bathroom, is that you breathe out as long as you can. When you don't have practice in breathing, what you can do is, first of all, breathe in, and then you breathe out. And again. And maybe you want to do it a third time. It should feel as if you're breathing through a straw. So purse your lips a little like this. I wonder if you already notice a difference when you do this. Small exercises, yeah? You should already feel a lot calmer. If you're still feeling a slight anxiety or nervousness, there's another trick I have for you. It's trick number 4, called take small sips of still water. Okay, it's important that it's still water, not bubbly. Take a sip And while you're drinking, you will probably want to think about the next answer to the next thing you want to say. This can also be helpful in situations where you're concerned about getting emotional. For example, when you have a difficult feedback meeting, or when you speak to your mother, it might be a good idea to take a sip of water occasionally. Another thing that I often notice in interviews, when people come from different cultural backgrounds, they often do not know how to maintain eye contact. So I advise that you do not look down, especially in the European context. It is important that you maintain eye contact with the person that interviews you. Now, if you feel this is not possible, try to focus somewhere around here. Yeah? Don't look down, rather look up. And if there are more than one person in the room, have a look at some of them occasionally. Not like you're attending a tennis match, but make sure that your eyes include everybody. Number 6. Maybe you know that Sheryl Sandberg wrote a whole book about this topic, Lean In. So, women have a tendency to lean out, for example, in meetings. She advises that you have your hands on the meeting table. And I think one way to just remember that all the time is that you take a little notebook and you allow yourself to take notes. I would not use an electronic notebook unless it's one where you use a pen, like an iPad where you can write on, because I think it just looks a bit more professional than typing notes. Keep your hands on the table. And number 7 is the use of silence, which is something in our culture we're not so used to. We feel often quite uncomfortable with silence. However, if you notice that the other person is distracted, for example, they're checking their phone, or they're not really looking at you, or they're still writing down notes, or they're looking at your documents and reading while you're talking, it might be a good idea to finish your sentence and take a break. And then if you get a reaction from the other person, like, oh, continue, now you know that they're listening. But maybe it could also be that they say, I'm sorry, my husband just called, one of our kids fell off a ladder and we need to be home, or I need to go to a hospital. Or the CEO just called, she urgently needs a report, and I think I just have to tell my team to get this done by noon. Could I quickly attend to it? So you show the other person that you see them, that you understand the situation they're in, and you make sure they're not missing anything that is really important to you. But this is also a way to show your presence. All right. These are the 7 steps of presence. Now, what I would like you to do is to practice the 7 steps of presence at home, with a friend, with someone from our group, and tell me how it went and what happened when you applied the tricks in a meeting. Thank you and see you soon. Bye.